Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Feel that shift already? That's the power of presence. Simple but profound. I'm Cathy O'Brien, and today on Inside the Wellspace, we're exploring a fresh perspective on meditation because it's the core of healing and something everybody can do. Here's the thing. Meditation is not one size fits all. What makes my guest, Schuivens, so different is that she doesn't just teach people how to meditate. She teaches us how to understand our own unique style of meditation so that we can discover what truly works for us uniquely. Lauren is a certified meditation trainer and the founder and CEO of Samavira. When she developed the Samavira method, inspired by her training with monks in Thailand, she not only teaches you how to meditate, she teaches you how to become a certified meditation practitioner. And what makes Lauren's story especially powerful is that she has lived it. After moving through trauma and depression, meditation became her lifeline. This conversation is about finding the meditation practice that works for you so you can have this gift of peace and inner strength every day. So, let's go inside the Wellspace with Schuivens. I'm really grateful that you're here because so people know, Lauren is actually my teacher and my meditation guru, and I'm learning so much from her. I felt compelled that she should come in and talk to everybody about how to find the way to meditate your own self, because it is totally doable. It's not, like you said, one size fits all. So can you just share with us your story, how you got where you got, and then let's get into Samavira and what great work you're doing.
Definitely. And honestly, it's such an honor to be here. And thank you for your invitation. And yeah, you said it beautifully. I got into meditation because I was pretty desperately looking for anything to help me go through the dark hole, the dark path I was going through in life at the time. I had tried so many different things, traditional therapies, alternative therapies, anything that anyone proposed to me, I tried it, trust me. And I felt better for a while after most of them, but I kept falling back. And that was so demotivating. That was so... It drained all my energy, literally.
Can I ask you, so how old were you and what happened, to prompt this? What happened?
It's quite a story. So it's multiple different things that came together and that reinforced each other, starting with the divorce of my parents that I could not understand as a 6-year-old, blaming myself, thinking I was a bad child. My parents divorced because I had done something wrong.
Yeah.
That's a starting point, but also predisposition to depression. It runs in our family. I was told by psychiatrists that I would never be able to live without antidepressants, which was depressing.
That's
to hear.
depressing,
Literally.
Right there.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. So
right.
That reinforced it further. But also, I lost my virginity through rape. I was taken advantage of, and I told myself all sorts of stories. I told myself, you know what? I've heard that the first time isn't great. At least I'm past it. I've been there, done that. So now I can move on and start enjoying. I told myself so many stories. I told myself, again, it's my fault.
Of course.
Same repetitive story.
We do that, we girls.
Yep. Yes, we do.
I'm sorry.
And perhaps even worst of all, once I felt that I started recovering, it happened again. I was once again raped by another person in a totally different scenario. However, so I was not well. I was really not well. And I mean what I say.
Yeah.
So I was, as I mentioned, I was looking for anything that could help me and sustainably help me. I came across an online course about something called meditation. At the time, I had no clue what that was. I'd heard of it, but it wasn't that known. It wasn't that common yet back then. I'm talking about 15 years ago by now. And not only that, the special thing about this was that this online course was created by Buddhist monks. And I thought, first, my initial thought was, sounds boring. That was my initial thought. Yeah. I changed my mind completely.
Yeah.
But first I thought, you know what? Why not? I have nothing to lose. Let me try. So I finished this online course and I received an invitation to go to Thailand and visit Buddhist monks, live with these same Buddhist monks and learn meditation from them firsthand.
Wow.
And I can tell you, I already felt a shift throughout the course. I did. So my hopes started getting back up. I thought, wow, maybe I found it. Maybe this is it. Maybe, if only. So I applied to go to Thailand. I was accepted. 6 months later, I went and as a meditation student, and I learned so incredibly much, not only about the practice of meditation, but also about life and also about myself.
Interesting.
My self-awareness that deepened so much. And this course has become a highlight of my life, but I also went through some of the darkest moments, because what I believe and what I strongly stand for is that meditation doesn't just help you feel better, become better. At first, it is likely to bring up the things that are going on inside of you, inside your body, inside your mind.
How great.
And showing you what's true,
Yeah.
what's alive. And that might be difficult to look at.
Inside of you.
Exactly.
Right? Inside of you. Because we do talk about, just as people in wellness, all this repressed trauma that we have that does damage to us internally. And it's hard to access that once it's stored away and stuffed away inside of you. So is that, was that something that you felt connected to when you engaged in the meditation, the depth of the meditation? Oh,
exactly. Great. I felt I was being ripped open in a light, in an empowering way, but also in a painful, uncomfortable, cry my heart out kind of way. And I really experienced both very, very strongly. Yeah.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. And you said, that's exactly what you said. You said that it's, you learned and you practiced and you learned about yourself, and, that it was only the beginning.
It was only the beginning. Yes, indeed. Because I felt, wow, again, maybe this is it. Maybe I found the thing that can help me. But of course, I didn't yet know, because it was just short term that I started engaging with the practice at that time.
Right.
But moving forward, keeping up and deepening my practice further and continuing to learn from the monks, because I'm still in direct contact with them after all these years.
So great.
I found that for me, meditation, the practice of meditation, was the first and only thing that indeed really helped me heal, but from the inside out, and help me heal deep within. Deeply. Not just on the outside, not just in my daily life, not just on a superficial level, but truly sustainably. And that's what I was looking for. I like going to the depth and the core of things, and that's what I did, and it helped.
And that's amazing, because too, you said, habit building is really hard. And that's a habit, right? I mean, you're picking up something, and it's also uncomfortable yet exhilarating. So, it's you got to go through the dark to get to the light, et cetera, all that stuff, right? But it's forming that habit is hard to do. And you said too that when you did that, you started workshops and doing courses. Is that what happened?
Exactly. So it wasn't, I'm of course giving you the short version here, but it wasn't an easy path. First of all, dealing with myself through the practice of meditation, and indeed building the habit of a regular meditation practice, which wasn't easy either. No. So definitely both of those went with lots of ups and downs. Yeah. But what I realized as I went is that a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions surrounding the practice of meditation. And oftentimes when someone feels the practice is hard, it's not working for me, it oftentimes comes from a misconception and not from indeed not being able to meditate.
Okay.
I'll share a bit more about that in a moment.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But what happened is that I was invited by the same monks to go back to Thailand and become a certified meditation teacher.
Awesome.
Yes, it was yet another life-changing experience. And that's the moment I decided I want to dedicate my life to sharing this practice with others. It was that moment. Wow. Because before that invitation, I was thinking of running retreats, bringing different well-being facilitators together, helping people reconnect with themselves and through that reconnect with each other. But I hadn't yet decided to focus solely on the practice of meditation. But one thing led to another, and it wasn't a proactive plan I had. I cannot say I rolled into it either, but the path was laid out. I was walking the path, and I saw with every step I took, it became clearer and clearer that this is what I want to do. This is what I believe I am meant to do in this lifetime.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful that happened to you and for you, and that you were open to seeing it?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And you said it well, it happened for me. And that's looking back, of course, after many, many years, of course. That's how I see it now. It happened for me. And I don't think I would have been here doing this work now if that hadn't happened, if all those things hadn't happened earlier.
You mean the traumatic stuff that you were talking about, or the time with the monks? All of it.
Both of them. Yeah. But through the traumatic experiences, I went looking for something. Yeah. Meditation came on my path, and through that rigorous training I received, I ended up here, and I don't think I would have been here otherwise.
No, but you know what? Here's the thing: you're a conduit and a healer, and that's purposeful, and that is you're looking at that and grabbing onto that as a way to, be like the evangelist basically of this wonderful practice that is so helpful to people. And those of us who work in fields of healing and wellness and health oftentimes come to it because of our own traumas and our own experiences.
Very true.
That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly. I find that to be very true. I'm training more and more other teachers because more and more people are looking to also take up the practice of meditation and wanting to integrate it in their work, share it with others.
Right.
And almost everyone has a very strong reason, very strong story that led them here, that brought them here.
That's right. Yes, that's definitely. Right. Exactly. You and I were talking about that. And that's my purpose of training with you, is so that I can share it in my personal practice with women who have, had traumatic experiences. And I know I shared with you that I used to, when I was working on the domestic violence hotline, I would do breath work and like quiet little baby meditations without even calling it that, because it scares some people away, doesn't it? The whole concept of meditation is scary. But you said something cool. You said meditation is the core of everything.
That's how I see it, indeed. I believe that every other well-being modality starts with self-awareness, and meditation is known to be the modality that helps to increase your self-awareness the most and the deepest. Maybe the deepest is a better word to use here. So for me, I strongly believe that meditation is at the core, at the heart of everything else. It starts with self-awareness, which is cultivated through meditation, and that leads to everything else. And I believe all other well-being modalities build further upon it, or can build further upon it.
From that space. As a meditator, I get that. I completely get that. I absolutely feel it and see it. And, you said something interesting. You said there are people who never start, and there are people who start and then fall out. What is that? Like, why? In my experience, and from what I see, and for all the people I've worked with, or haven't yet because of doubts holding them back and not wanting to sign up for whatever, our community, our courses, whatever it is that a lot of people don't start because there are many reasons, you could call them excuses in a sense, just for simplicity, that hold them back. Because sometimes it's really hard to make a change in our life, even if that change is going to be great for us, because our brain is wired to keep us safe. So anything new, no matter how great it may be, is unknown and therefore deemed unsafe. Interesting.
That's just how our brain operates, right?
Right. Yep.
And that's also why habit building is so hard for us as human beings. There are several different theories, techniques that can be applied. And of course, we dive deep into those in our trainings, because that's a big part of a meditation practice, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the first. Then there are also a lot of people who don't start, or who try it and fall out really fast, because a lot of people come across a certain style, a certain technique, perhaps meditations on an app or YouTube. So they come across one certain way of meditating. That way may or may not work for them. Majority cases, it doesn't actually, because the chances are relatively small that you find the way that suits you the very first time you try, right?
Yeah.
But then, given that it's very unknown, it's not talked about nearly as much as I believe we should. There's so many different styles and techniques in meditation. No, none of them work for everyone. Everyone has a certain way or can develop a personalized meditation style that suits them the best as an individual. So if you try out meditation online and you come across something that doesn't work instantly, a lot of people think that, this is difficult.
Meditation's not for me. It's not my thing. I've heard that from so many people, especially young people. It's just not my thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Right. And it all comes back to the same thing. They came across a way of meditating that doesn't suit them, which makes it indeed difficult.
Right.
Dread, makes people dread the practice. Yeah. Boring even. Right.
I think people
and it doesn't have to be like that.
You've got this vision in your mind of somebody sitting there going, "Om."
Exactly.
And just like, and the mind is spinning. I was telling you, I was just with a friend, another breast cancer survivor, talking about meditation, and she was like, "I just can't. My head's spinning too hard." I was like, "But that's why you need it."
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Chicken or egg kind of story. That is.
I know. Yes. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of misinformation out there, is what you're saying.
Yes, a lot. And I think the biggest one of all is that the notion that meditation only works for some people, Whereas
Right.
if you meditate in a way that works for you, and by that I mean the way your brain works, the way your mind works, or however your life looks like, and the type of lifestyle that you have, then people can develop a meditation style that we call personalized meditation style that's easy, effective, and also importantly, enjoyable for them. The three E's we call them: easy, effective, and enjoyable. And you know when you're there, you know when it clicks.
Yeah.
And we strongly believe this is possible for everyone. Most of our students tried a meditation before, didn't work, they gave up. Long time ago, they came across us, said, okay, we'll give it another chance. Or maybe they talked to me directly and they're like, okay, Lauren,
let's do it.
We like the way you describe it. Let's try. You know, I don't have any hopes up, but who knows? And then they come out, they're like, really? This is what meditation can be like? I wish I had known this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to hear. Really, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah. And what's cool too that you mentioned, especially at Samavira, your teachings and the way you teach, you were which I thought this was really cool. You talk about it in 3 ways, right? Visual, auditory, and
kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic, which is body, physical.
Yes.
Can you just like explain that a little bit?
Yes, of course. So what we found and what we know now is that the different meditation techniques, so overall we teach the 7 major meditation techniques, plus variations of all those techniques, right? And I'll elaborate a little bit in a moment. But what we now learned is that the 3 main senses of people are indeed auditory, visual, or physical, kinesthetic, in other words. And the different meditation techniques connect back or relate back to those senses. So for example, if someone has a stronger visual sense, they will most likely, it'll most likely be easier for them to use visual-based meditation techniques. Simply because it fits, like I said, with the type of brain, the type of mind that they have already.
That makes sense.
Instead of trying to make meditation work for you, so instead of trying to make you work for meditation, we'll find a way to make meditation work for you.
Right.
And that's the reversed mindset that we integrated in our teaching method, and why our results are so different than, for example, using a meditation app and not even knowing about these things because no one talks about it.
And that's where you should really start, actually, right? Is you at the core of your own self and say, how over time do I know that I've learned best? I personally am pretty visual. I was telling you how I did a meditation when I was at this retreat, and I was I visualized walking down a stairway, and each like few steps I took, like I was prompted, it was auditory, but also visual. I prompted to like go deeper inside and deeper inside. It was so cool. It was really helpful, but to your point, it was just helpful.
Exactly. Yeah. And it fitted you. It worked for you. It might have not have worked as well for me or someone else. And that's the exact point I'm making. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you mentioned the 7 techniques. Do you want to tell us about that? Because that sounds like something people can just sort of like grab onto.
Of course. So there are lots of different styles and ways of meditation, right? The 7 major techniques keep coming back in most meditation styles and most guided meditations as well, as are, first of all, the breathing technique. This is also at the same time one of the most common ones, simply because it's used in most types of meditations. All the 7 techniques I'm about to mention, they really build on each other. So basically, the further you go with the meditation, so the further you go through those 7 techniques, the deeper you're actually going into your own being. So the deeper you are, or the closer you're coming towards a meditative state, and the more likely it is that you'll be able to drop in, or that your mind can drop into the meditative state, right? So just as a side note to keep in mind while I'm running you through.
Can I ask a question before we go into it? When you talk about the meditative state, what is the meditative state?
Great question.
Yeah.
It's a great question. And some see it as a very philosophical question, but there's actually scientific research done, so we know now what it is, or how to describe it at least. So we all know the state of being awake and the state of being asleep, right? All of us know that.
Yep.
Literally every human being on the planet. However, there is a third state in between, when you're not fully consciously awake, but you're not asleep either. And researchers found out that this is a very natural state for the mind to be in, the meditative state, the in-between state. However, because of our busy lives and so many responsibilities that we have in life these days, our minds are no longer used to being in in-between state. So that's also why a lot of people, when they start meditating, they drop into the sleep state instead. They fall asleep and they think, see, it doesn't work. No, this is just you retraining your mind to be able to go back into its actual natural state of being, which is relaxed, being in an alpha brainwave state.
Alpha brainwave state,
yeah, exactly. So it can actually also be measured. And it's a state, when you actually drop into the meditative state, this has also been researched. It doesn't feel the exact same for everyone. However, universally, globally, meditators do report the same sensations or the same experiences without having talked to each other. So for example, when you drop into meditative states, a lot of people report feeling a lot of compassion for themselves, for others, for everything and everyone around. People they know and don't know, for the world in general, or you may want to go beyond that even, right? At the universe or however you see life. Also a feeling of complete acceptance. Everything's okay the way it is, no matter what you're going through in life. Everything's okay. A feeling of understanding. Things that you may be overthinking about, but you're just okay with everything. Also a feeling of being so deeply connected with yourself that the lines, the borders between body and mind have started fading. And you feel like everything is one whole, you, but also you and everything else around you. That state of oneness. Some call it connection to higher consciousness. There's different terms to describe the same sensation, right?
Yeah.
And this is what meditators globally describe how it feels to be in the meditative state. Yeah.
Gosh, doesn't it sound so good?
It does.
It does. So good.
It is. I can tell you. It is.
Yeah. It's just the idea of like, how do we get there? So
exactly.
So for our crew, who's our community, who's plugged into this and thinking like, yes, I want that in my life and I want to be able to access that, but I don't have that time in my head and blah, blah, blah. So these 7 different techniques that we're getting into now, they can all work together, but you can also isolate them, right? And do like different techniques if that works for you. You can pick one and do it that way if you want to.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So if you're going through a complete meditation, I would recommend following the same order of techniques, like in the same order. But for each of those 7, as I mentioned, you can personalize your practice by experimenting with the different variations of the techniques, which connect back to the 3 senses, as I mentioned, to see which ones, again, are easiest, most effective, most enjoyable for you, so that you develop your own personalized meditation practice within the framework of guiding your mind deeper and deeper within, so that it becomes retrained to be able to be still, even empty at some point, which allows the mind to drop into the meditative state. So it's a journey, literally, but it's a trainable journey. It's something that you can learn. It's something that you can be trained in and practice. Yeah. It's a path that you can walk.
Yep.
And the path will look different for everyone.
Yep.
But I wouldn't say destination, but that state is very universal.
That sought after, that sort of like nirvana state that we want to find peace and also rejuvenation. Explain the 7 steps to us, and then we can do like an actual meditation.
The first technique is the breathing technique, which often comes first because it's generally the easiest technique for people to start with. Our breath is always there. We may not breathe consciously, but at least it's an easier entry point into a meditation. Second technique is the body scan technique. A lot of people have heard of this one as well. It's very common, but there are different ways to use the body scan technique, right? Different variations. And the body scan technique is there to focus on observing the sensations of the body, and if you can, don't force it ever, but to relax all parts of your body to the extent possible. The reason we do this is that the next step, or the third technique, called the nature scenario technique, is focused on relaxing the mind. We first focus on relaxing the body because, again, for the majority of people, it's not every single person, but for most people, it's a bit easier to relax the body than relaxing the mind. But both can be very difficult, right?
Yeah,
don't get me
kidding.
wrong.
Yep.
It's just
but the mind one is the big kahuna.
Exactly. So the third technique focuses on letting go of thoughts, letting the mind become more and more still, not yet fully empty. And that's actually another myth, that the mind isn't ever fully empty. It's simply that the thoughts settle. right?
Okay.
So our mind becomes more calm, more still, if you will.
Okay.
Leading to the fourth technique, called the centering technique, my personal favorite.
Yeah.
But of course, this is also the main technique that I learned in a monastery, because this is the technique that the monks focus on the most in their practice, because it's the most direct technique to lead the mind literally towards the center of your body. Exactly.
So that's
which
like
is
the staircase thing, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What you described is another variation of the centering technique. So you got it. You
It
see?
was so cool. I got to be honest. It was really cool.
Exactly. I love it too. I love it too. So different variations of the centering technique with the purpose to guide the mind towards the center of the body, which is located just above the navel, the belly button, and the literal center of the center for your body composition.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So we start gently, of course, guiding the mind towards the center, which is when we get to technique 5 and 6. 5 is the visualization technique. It's not a visualization out there of something that you'd like to, for example, bring into your life. It's not a manifestation technique. Instead, is us visualizing a mental object inside the center of our body to help the mind stay focused on the center until it's ready to let go of the visualization object and let go of the meditation technique, if you will, because then the mind doesn't need a technique anymore because it's ready to drop in.
Wait, so you just like think about what in your center, inside your body? Like what is it?
For the visualization technique,
Yeah.
we focus on a mental object, which is usually a round-shaped object, because round shapes are easier for the mind to hold like a gentle focus on. It's easier for the mind to stay focused on.
Interesting.
It could be the full moon, it could be the sun, it could be the flame of a candle, it could be a bubble of water. Some people like a crystal ball of sorts.
Okay.
You can
It can be anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so like for these kids that I'm going to be working with, it could be a tennis ball.
Exactly. Yes.
See, that's that's very helpful actually, because that makes sense.
And then when you're, for example, if it's hot, use an ice cube. That's one tip.
There you go.
I received from the monks in Thailand. It was pretty hot.
I like that.
So you're like, don't use the sun if it's hot already. Use an ice cube.
Use an ice cube. That's cool.
Again, adjustments and variations.
Yeah, that makes it fun too, actually.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially when working with kids. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Oh my goodness. Okay.
We'll dive deeper into that.
We
will.
Worries. Yeah, later. We don't need to do that now, but you and I will talk about that because that's cool.
Yes. And then comes the mantra technique, which has the same focus, the same purpose to help the mind stay focused on the center. Yeah. So the visualization technique is generally better suited for people who are more visual, and the mantra technique for people who are more auditory, because they hold the same purpose. You can use either or both together, again, depending on what works best for you.
You can see your word too. Like I studied transcendental meditation right after I had cancer. It was really great. I gotta be honest. It was so good. And the mantra really helped me. It just helped me. Yeah, ground. It gets you grounded, and focused.
Exactly.
It was really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
No.
At all.
No.
Like at all.
No.
But it worked for me.
Beautiful. And that's, again, where people can experiment and choose which one works best. Yeah. Because you don't have to force yourself to make a technique work. By all means, there are plenty of others to choose from.
Right. So, and if one works for you now, doesn't mean like just because transcendental meditation with my mantra worked then, it doesn't mean that I'm not actually going to employ like body scans now or just focus on the breathing, whatever. You can mix and match.
Exactly. Yeah. And we change as well.
We change.
Our mind changes.
Yes.
And you might not need a certain technique anymore as you go as well. Yeah.
Well, I like
and
that.
Then to wrap
we're
up,
graduating.
Exactly. We are becoming more and more advanced in the depth of our practice.
Yeah.
And then the 7th technique is called the reset technique. And this is an overarching technique that helps us literally reset whenever we get distracted, which I can tell you will probably be plenty of times, no matter how long you've been meditating for. And this one helps us to bring the mind back and continue deepening our practice. Yeah.
And can I ask you, is it okay when you're employing any/all of these, is it okay if you're resetting all the time? Like if you find yourself resetting a lot, is that normal?
Definitely. It is totally normal. And in fact, it doesn't mean that the meditation isn't working. It doesn't mean that you cannot meditate. It means that you're aware of the fact that you're distracted, which is a huge milestone in the practice. That's amazing.
That's
That's
just
really,
being
really
like, because
good.
you're in touch and you're aware of your own self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you keep going, I promise your mind will start settling. You can train and retrain anything as long as you keep going, right? So the same with your mind.
Yeah, I
It is
love that you just
possible.
said that. If you keep going and that that it's just there. Like I think that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, so everybody who's listening or watching, if you're driving, maybe pull over. But we're gonna go through this 7-step meditation, and you'll stop on each one and just sort of talk a little bit about it. Yeah.
Yes, I
Okay,
will.
to get
Sounds
us
good.
into like, yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm going to just, are you kidding? I'm kicking
Enjoy.
back and I'm going to do a little meditation and I hope I can come out of it. But okay, let's go.
Perfect. Perfect. Usually I would go a little bit slower, so this
Okay.
will be a little bit faster than usual, but it's
Okay.
still great to follow along.
Okay.
And let's see where we end up.
Amazing.
So, of course, you can make yourself comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. Again, we're all different, so find a position that works for you. Just try and keep your back slightly straight, which is easier if you tilt your hips forward a little bit. So whenever you feel ready, if you like, you can close your eyes and simply start by taking a few deep breaths in and out of your body. And see if you're able to really breathe in and out with full focus, with full awareness. Letting the breath go in and out of your belly. With every breath in, your belly expands. And with every breath out, your belly shrinks, becomes small. So this is a very physical way of breathing, but there are also more visual and more auditory ways, variations of the breathing technique. So if you find this difficult, know that there are other ways and no need to force it. You could, for example, visualize a balloon in your belly instead. With every breath in, the balloon inflates. And with every breath out, the balloon deflates. It's the exact same technique, but just a different variation. Or for example, if you're more auditory, you could actually count your breaths. You could, for example, breathe in for 3, then hold, breathe out for 6, and count your breaths. So these are just 3 different ways. There are more, but 3 different ways to use a breathing technique. One is physical, one is visual, one is auditory. And if you want to really experiment, have fun, you could even start combining some of them if you like. Then after our focus on the breath, let's continue to focus on our body using the body scan. Starting with the top of your head. And we'll be guiding our awareness all the way down to the tips of your toes. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose together. And while breathing out, see if you're able to relax your head, your face, your neck, your throat. Let's take another deep breath in and out, relaxing your shoulders, your arms, hands and fingers. Another deep breath in and out, relaxing your chest, your belly, your back, letting everything drop. Let's take another deep breath in. And while breathing out, relaxing our hips, our legs, our feet and toes. And again, know that this is a very physical variation of the body scan. But if you're more visual, you could visualize standing under a shower and imagining the water, might be warm, might be cold, just passing all parts of your body. And the water is helping you relax all parts of your body. Just an example of another variation. Let's briefly go to the centering technique. Just follow along with me. You can bring your awareness to your nostrils, your nose holes. Then gently going inside to the bridge of your nose. Bringing your awareness inside your head. And imagine there's a slide inside of your body. And you're just going down the slide inside your belly, inside your center. And if you like, you could visualize a round object or use a mantra. And focus on your object or your mantra for yourself inside your belly, inside your center. For however long you feel comfortable. And for now, we'll gently bring our awareness back to the surface. Let's take a deep breath in, wake your body up. And whenever you're ready, gently wiggle your fingers, your toes, your neck. And while staying connected to your center of strength within you, you can gently, slowly open your eyes. This was a very brief version. Imagine if we go on.
That was so good. I'm so relaxed right now. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Okay, question. What about length of time? You mentioned during one piece of it, length of time. So like, for example, the TM version suggests doing it 2 times a day, 20 minutes each time. What is that? What's the significance of something like that?
It's a great question. And research has been done. It shows that because we used to think we need to meditate for an hour. Then it said 30 minutes, now it's already 20. And then the latest, exactly.
Yeah.
But the latest research shows that long-term effects start showing after minimum, but this is the bare minimum, 10 minutes per day.
Oh, that's great.
And what I mean by long-term effects is that after several weeks of consistent daily meditation, you would still see the effects on brain scans, even if you temporarily pause your practice. Short-term effects, however, can be seen way faster, even within one session, of course, depending on how you meditate, what you might be dealing with. But some people report change the state of mind even after 30 seconds, right? But these are short-term effects, of course. They wouldn't last unless you continue your practice.
Got it.
But answers differ. Certain meditation styles focus on a specific you should this or that.
Right.
But research shows that, short-term versus long-term effects can already start showing from 10 minutes per day, which is incredible. That's good news.
It's great news,
That's
actually,
good news.
because I think that'll be helpful to get more people involved, frankly.
Exactly.
It just will. And certainly the younger crowd, but as they're growing up, because 10 minutes of time is, unheard of to anybody really in a younger generation. It's like, I'm going to spend 10 minutes doing anything.
Feels like 3 hours.
Right. I know. Right. No, but that's good to know, because apps like Calm, before I got deeper into a practice, I would use the Daily Calm app, but just the Calm app. And there's something called the Daily Calm, and it was 10 minutes and it was guided. So it wasn't, a lot of what you're talking about is self-guided stuff that you do. Once you learn how to do it, you can just do this yourself. Right. But
you can go much deeper. Yeah.
Right.
Being guided through is fine, is great for training purposes in the beginning, but you can go way deeper once you're able to let go of that.
Yeah.
Because then you can give yourself exactly what you need in that moment, which will look differently every day. One day you might need a longer body scan, another day your body feels great, but you might need some work. So that way you can pace your own practice. Yeah. And guide yourself through the variations that work best. So you can go deepest and furthest independently.
Yeah. What would you suggest for somebody who's just starting, or for somebody who has tried it and thought like, what would you suggest they do?
My belief is that everyone can learn to meditate.
Yeah.
However, it will look differently for everyone, right? But I really strongly, and my experience so far shows that this is possible. But again, we need to have some experimentation to see what works best, right?
Right.
So my recommendation would be to give it one more try and really inform yourself of the different ways, the different styles, the different techniques, and experiment and have fun experimenting to see, okay, how can I make this work for me?
Yeah.
How can I make meditation work for me instead of making you work for meditation, right? Because that will not last sustainably.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like not something you should do or have to do. It's something that you become something that you want to do.
Exactly.
Well, because like the benefits are undeniable. And you mentioned brain scans before, and I thought like, wait, what shows up in the brain scan? So what does show up in a brain scan that is noticeable and beneficial?
Actually, a whole lot of things, so that we could dedicate a whole separate episode on that. And it's still being researched, so we don't even know half of it yet. But one of the things that shows up, which I find very interesting, is that the brains of meditators, and of course, I'm leaving out the details here just for sake of time, but the brains of long-term meditators are on average 7.5 years younger than the brains of non-meditators.
I love
that.
that.
And of course the scans, and then they actually explain what it means for a brain to look younger, etc. Of course. But that's one of the conclusions, which I'm all for. So I'm working on that myself.
Yeah. I was watching a show last night and somebody had a brain trauma. And one of the doctors, like somebody asked a question about recovery, and one of the doctors was like, well, it's a brain injury, so who knows? Like, we don't know. We know nothing. I'm sitting here wondering if indeed it has been shown that brains are younger, scientifically data-driven, they're younger from meditation. I wonder if it could have some sort of impact on Alzheimer's and all that kind of stuff that's going on now.
That is what they're currently researching.
Is that right?
And the preliminary results are in and they look very promising, but the research is being deepened to make sure it's solid, right? Before they can really publish it with actual conclusions there. But one thing that has already been proven time and time again is that meditation, and not only supports but activates neuroplasticity. So the ability of the brain to rewire itself and physically change, not just feel different and temporarily look different on scans, but physically change, that certain neural connections become weakened, other neural connections become strengthened, so that the brain actually starts changing and actually starts physically looking different. So again, on the scans, and exactly, and this is for me, it's super motivating.
You're like,
really.
Yeah, baby, I knew I was onto something.
Exactly.
Wait,
yes.
So do you know what I'm wondering? So you know how hypnosis is a thing that people use to retrain their brain, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
would you associate hypnosis with meditation or no?
There is some connection. There is some overlap in a sense. Hypnotherapists also try and guide you towards or to the meditative state so that you become more open to whatever subliminal messaging basically that they're using to help either get answers or give you new information to for the brain to work with, depending on, of course, the purpose
Change
of
a
your session.
habit or whatever
For example,
it may be.
exactly. Stop smoking.
Yeah.
And some people want to look into a blockage and get answers that only their subconscious seems to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, there is some connection between them. The only thing is that the purpose of it is slightly different in the sense that often hypnotherapy is applied to a specific thing that people want to either let go of or understand better. And in a sense, meditation, of course, as well. But maybe one thing to note here is that a lot of different people want to meditate for so many different reasons. And the list is long, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But what's the beauty of this practice is that no matter the reason that you want to start your practice or want to deepen your practice, you'll get the full package of benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, what more amazing thing in the world is there? You'll get them all, no matter why you're signing up.
It's so true. Honestly, it really is beneficial being a meditator myself. It just makes things easier, frankly. And it's totally aside, but Jerry Seinfeld was interviewed because he did the same TM course that I did in New York. And he said that he attributes in large part his success of when he did Seinfeld to his TM meditation practice, because he said when everybody was having lunch together, they broke for lunch, he would go off in a room and meditate by himself. And it kept him, like, his energy going, it kept him focused. And I thought that was really cool, actually. And that was just something he did for himself. And he recognized the benefit. I just love that. So yeah, it's neat.
Me too. And more people, athletes, astronauts, they are applying.
Athletes, students, right? All the benefits that are shown now.
Yeah.
It's exciting, isn't it? You're see, look at you on the cusp. You're right there with your school and your training. You're just so right there. Okay. So what do you want to leave our crew with? What are the things you want them to take away?
I would say, if you've never tried meditation, I hope this motivates you to at least dip your toe into it, see what it's like, see what it feels like, see what it can do for you. And I hope this motivates you to give it a try, right? If you have tried meditation before and it didn't work, I really hope that this helped motivate you to try again, but now perhaps approach it in a different way and know that there's a full playground out there that you can use to see, okay, what do I want? What works? What doesn't? And again, enjoy that process, because I think it's important to have fun with the practice. Otherwise, it probably won't last if you find it boring and dry, right?
Right.
And if you do currently have a practice, exactly, I think that's important. I mean, we have to make something of life ourselves, right? Yeah. And for the people who do already have a practice, I hope they were able to get some takeaways out of this that helps them deepen their practice further, perhaps adding on the centering technique or another variation of techniques, or perhaps the order of the 7 techniques, whatever it is. I hope this helps deepen their practice further so they can go even deeper within themselves, even deeper within a meditative state, and reap the benefits even more deeply, even more powerfully as well.
That is so exciting. I'm excited, actually. Like, that number 3 for me, I'm on it.
Yes.
I'm psyched about it. I just want to say thank you so much. This is really, really helpful, really interesting, and something, again, that's just actually like doable, which is what we want. We girls just need a little something to do here that we can actually, that isn't so overwhelming, that it's just too much. So this we can do, and it will be very helpful. So really thank you for sharing your time and your expertise with us. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. I wouldn't be here without you, so thank you. And love the conversation. Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes. Okay. See you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Inside the Wellspace. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.